Back. I mean, I'm August. I mean, both. I haven't made any content in the past like year or so. Why? You ask. I don't know. Actually, I do know. That's the whole point of this video. Since I was experiencing life way more than I used to, my mindset was changing at a rate where my ideas couldn't keep up with it, if that makes sense. Theoretically, I was coming up with a lot of ideas, but I didn't have enough time for me to actually get one done or get a project done before my mindset would change and I didn't really want to do that project anymore. I think you get the point, right? That, of course, made me feel really frustrated, and the more frustrated I felt, the more I kept postponing it. The more I postponed it, the more time passed, the more I was willing to kind of give up on this whole part of my life. Not necessarily in a bad way. It was more that I was kind of content with my life. I didn't know how to really get back into it, so I figured, as any other self-proclaimed wannabe guru genius YouTuber, I made a video about it. So here we are, taking a break. It's been half a decade that I've been actually kind of trying to work on myself. And YouTube and blogging and all of these other creative outlets have been a very important part of it because, well, it's who I am, right? So it makes me feel good. I could be the most depressed ever, and I just hear that and I'm like, we're making it, you know what I'm saying? Even though that shit is ass, so we're not making it. But in theory, so to say. This whole creative journey for me really started a long time ago, but I became more serious about it when I started to do YouTube, and I bought I had a GoPro, and I was kind of filming myself with my GoPro on my phone back in France, and I took the advice of the great V-man himself, Mr. Gary, and I started to document my life. Since that kind of made it easier for me to make content, because I can literally make a video on almost anything that goes on in my life, just the way I'm doing it right now. However, last year, one thing became very clear. This whole journey of mine to try and learn how to, live life and be a normal human being suffered because of my addiction to document life. I mean, on a subconscious level, realistically, it was because of a lot of reasons, but really, I think it was because I wanted the attention, and not even necessarily the attention as much as what came with it, which is usually validation to some degree, right? Not just validation that, oh my God, I'm so cool or something, but more so, that I'm not completely worthless piece of shit. So, you can understand how that's low-key was kind of important to me to not, As an attempt to get myself through this, I made a deal with myself last year that I would put a hold on this whole creative thing for myself and focus on creating a life offline, so to say, concerts, festivals, getting drunk in a forest. Really, I was just trying to get a life offline before I move into the online world that encompasses my passion, so to say. Fancy words. I did that, and it helped a lot. One of the best outcomes of the last year, really, and focusing on my real life, was building relationships with people, genuine relationships with people, with new people. Oh my God, bro. That gave me a certain sense of security and mental peace, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So, finding your people. This is the next step in my grand genius plan to, I don't even know what the fuck. When I moved to Amsterdam, it was really hard for me to talk to people. Mostly because after years of isolation in France, I had no idea how to make friends and how to interact with people in a personal way. When I was in France, I would talk to people, at uni or professors, but I didn't really know how to talk to people in a personal way, and it kind of let myself be more vulnerable. So when I came here, it was really weird, but I had a goal set in mind that on the first day at uni, I would make a friend. By the end of the day, I had made 2 friends. By the end of the month, I already met an abundance of new, interesting, and very diverse people. And a lot of these people I don't even talk to anymore, but what it made me realize is that I didn't have to settle, About 9 months later, my socializing baby, not to be confused with socialist, was born, and I had somehow created a friend group with a bunch of people that I knew where I felt comfortable to be myself, and I managed to become more confident in who I was. I started to go into the gym again. I found my style, or at least to some extent, I got compliments, What the fuck was that? It actually never happened. Unless I talked to my grandma, but she's kind of a simp, so it doesn't really count to me, Being around these people made me feel like I was on cloud 9. Mostly because I didn't have that before, so to me it was very new. So my brain was high on oxytocin and shit. Having these the right people around me just made me feel comfortable to the point where I didn't have to live in survival mode anymore. I could actually enjoy life, which was again kind of new to me and still is to this point to some degree. It's become more normal for me, but it's still weird sometimes to think that I'm I don't have to think about, and eventually I started doing all these things that I was passionate about without even realizing that I was actually doing them. I just didn't feel any pressure, you know, and I think that's a very important thing, which is why that's my next point. Try to get rid of the pressure that comes with creating stuff, doing anything that you're passionate about. I got this from McDonald's. Oh. Don't. Since for me this whole process wasn't just about racking up views and followers, this was very important. Of course, when you're, you know, making money, there's a certain like trade-off between how much you're actually enjoying your job and how much you're willing to sacrifice to get said, you know, reward. But since at this point in my creative career there's no remuneration, I need to be able to motivate myself to do any of this, I need to at least enjoy it to some extent. You know, I need to know that I'm either gonna like what I'm doing or the final product or something out of it I enjoy. And I tried to write some scripts, nothing really stuck. I tried to put some clips together, nothing really hit the right way. I didn't really see anything that I could create in a more big picture type of thing. Frankly, most of the stuff that I was trying to make just had no sauce. It was just plain rice, and who the fuck wants to eat that shit, you know? So I kind of let it stay on the back burner. I just kind of either wrote some stuff whenever I felt like it, or messed around with some music, again, only when I kind of felt like it. And slowly I started just doing more and more, and eventually even like addictions were thrust aside to make time for the things that I actually enjoyed. Like I still remember this one time when I was like, I think I got out a cigarette or something, and I was gonna go smoke before I like stopped to make an adjustment to one of the songs that I was making. I don't remember what, but long story short, it was a few hours later and I was like, what the fuck just happened, you know? Basically, every single thing that I was like messing around with, that I was like interacting with, that was new, was making the process more enticing. And that was actually the next thing that I wanted to talk about, which is to embrace the novelty of really everything, but in this case, especially media consumption and anything that has to do with like creative work. But consuming the same media time and time again limited my creative and like imaginative growth. So I kind of stuck in this like passive, depressive state of mind. It's just kind of monotone, you know, because there's nothing new to inspire me. So since I can't motivate myself to actually do anything myself, and then everything else that I consume is the same thing over and over again, of course I'm not going to change, and I'm not going to become more motivated or inspired or something like that, you know? So I decided to start listening to new music, new shows, new movies, some really interesting and captivating ones. Of course, we're not going to talk about the greatness of Gossip Girl in this video.
Do you think this is the first time I've entrapped someone with prostitutes?
I will, however, talk about the fact that exposing yourself to new media, whether it's movies, shows, paintings, whatever other art, will benefit your brain in many ways, especially in terms of creative growth, if you will. First of all, it encourages that whole, you know, neuroplasticity thing your brain got going on. You know, it sees a new thing, it develops new neural pathways, or like strengthens the you know, present ones. So that's pretty cool, right? Second of all, it promotes dopamine release, which, if you don't know what it is, it's basically the hormone in your body that makes you want to progress in life. So like, for example, I don't know, let's say you see a cool transition or a cool painting or a cool song or something, and suddenly your brain is like, oh shit, I want to make something that's like that, you know? Or I want to get better to the point where I can make something like that, you know? Also, there's like plenty of studies that I found, like this one from Journal of Experimental Journal of Experimental Social Psychology, that showed that exposing yourself, not like in a weird way or anything, but rather your brain to new cultures can improve creative performance by broadening cognitive flexibility. Basically, your ability to like adapt your thinking to new environments, stimuli, rules, goals, whatever. And I've noticed this firsthand in the past few months myself. When I went to the festival, to Rolling Loud in Vienna, and I was at the Playboy Cardi concert, and I really, for the first time, truly understood like his music, especially the last album, Whole Lotta Red, or like watching new movies like Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling, amazing movie by the way. I still remember listening to the new Billie Eilish album, and I listened to this song called Chihiro, Chirio, without the I don't remember. Anyway, that song was like, oh shit, this is cool as fuck. I want to do something like this. It scratches your brain in oh my god, man. In general, like exposing myself to like new shows, movies, songs seem to have somehow like, somehow, just explaining why, but like it revived my creative spark. And emphasis on YouTube here because honestly, the diversity of creative content in that bitch is like crazy. Falling back in love with your passion. A few weeks back, motherfucker, man. Falling back in love with your passion. A few weeks back, I went to Rolling Loud in Vienna, and that was just an amazing experience, especially during Playboy Cardi when I was so close to the stage. I could probably smell his sweat if I really tried to. My own fetishes aside, during the Travis Scott performance, I took this clip of him transitioning into Fiend, and as I was watching that back, like later that day or the day after, this vision for an edit popped into my head, and that was the first time in like over a year where I actually had an idea for a project that I was actually kind of like excited about, and not just in a ooh this could be cool, but like in a ooh this could be cool, you know, like the moment I dropped that thing into Final Cut Pro, I just knew I was gonna enjoy it. I also knew that it wasn't gonna be as good as I thought it would be, or as I imagined it in my head, but you know, it just be like that sometimes. I tried to implement it, and as I was seeing some stuff, you know, kind of work together and it kind of growing into something that I actually liked watching myself, I got more motivated to finish it. It took me probably around like, I don't know, a few dozen hours spread out over a few days to finish it, and I enjoyed every single second of it. Well, except that one moment where I kind of erased like half of it and I had to redo it all, but you know, that aside, it was truly a really rewarding process. And here I am now making this video without any kind of pressure at all, and I kind of actually enjoying it. Obviously, this is really fucking weird for me right now to do because I'm just not used to it anymore. Wait. I never know what the fuck to do with my hands. Finding the balance. Oh, damn. It got kind of dark, huh? I, of course, still have days when I procrastinate. I don't do anything, you know. But working on my, like, mental well-being first and then, like, focusing on this whole thing again. Now I'm able to make progress on this project even if I don't really feel like it. I just start and then I kind of like, oh shit, this is not that bad, you know? And I have days when I don't do anything, and that's okay. And then I have days when all I can do is think and breathe, you know, creative stuff, and that's fine too. At the end of the day, the key is balance, and if your mental state is in place, the rest just kind of seems to follow. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to check out that Fiend edit over here, or my tech playlist over here, frankly, it's just hard for me to watch anything else on my channel at this point, so I'll see you in the next one.